Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In this clip, I am going to explore William Shakespeare sonnet number 18, which is also entitled Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? The poet William Shakespeare was born in the year 1564 and died in 1616. He was the significant literary figures of the Elizabethan period. However, he is, in a way, the captain of the history of English literature as well. And as far this term sonnet is concerned, it's a poem of 14 lines. Already we got to know that a sonnet is of two types: Petrarchan sonnet or the Italian sonnet, as well as the other form is Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet. So, to get a proper view of the sonnet form, please view my video on sonnet form and other forms as well. Now, let's focus on Shakespeare sonnet number 18. So Shakespeare was there in the Elizabethan period, and Elizabethan period is called the golden period of the history of English literature. Now the composition here of William Shakespeare sonnets, because we know that Shakespeare composed in total 154 sonnets, and this sonnet number 18 is the number 18 sonnet of this 154 sonnet series. So simply Shakespeare composed 154 sonnets, and all these 154 sonnets were published together in the year 1609 by the publisher Thomas Thorpe. So publication is clear to us that it was published in the year 1609. Then what is about its composition here? It is said that the sonnets were likely written in the year 1594. Now the next important point about Shakespeare's sonnet number 18 is the speaker. That is, who is the speaker in this sonnet? Here we must remember that probably the speaker is the poet persona himself. Now let's focus on the themes which have been portrayed in this sonnet. So the themes include the aspects like love, the timelessness of love, beauty, immortality, power of poetry, as well as the power of love. Now, the very next important point is the style in which this poem is actually written by the poet speaker or the William Shakespeare. So, the style or the structure or the pattern of this poem is a different one. Different in the sense that it's not like that of the Petrarchan sonnet form in structure. Rather, it is of three quatrains and one couplet. Now, what is about this quatrain and couplet? A quatrain is a poetic stanza of 4 lines, and in this poem, sonnet number 18, like that of Shakespeare's all 154 sonnets were written in the same form, following three quatrains and one couplet. Now, what is about couplet? A couplet is also a stanza of 2 lines. And in this sonnet number 18, as well as Shakespeare's all 154 sonnets, the couplet actually comprises the last 2 lines or the concluding 2 lines. Okay, after knowing the stanza pattern or the style and the structure, The next important point that we must not miss is the rhyme scheme. So, unlike the Petrarchan sonnet, Shakespeare's sonnets are having a different style, that is different rhyme scheme. This is A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, and G G. So this way the 14 lines have been divided. 14 lines have been written following this very rhyme scheme. Now, the next point, first line. What is the first line of this poem? That is, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? This is also sometimes the title of this sonnet number 18. Now, let's explore the dedicatees of this poem, sonnet number 18, as well as all Shakespeare's 154 sonnets. Now, here we must know two, three names, probable names, who are the probable dedicatees of William Shakespeare's sonnets. Here we first refer to the very name William Howard, who was Earl of Pembroke, and he is considered as the probable dedicatee of William Shakespeare's sonnets. Apart from this, here is another probable name, that is Henry Wriothesley, who was the Earl of Southampton. So this way the variations were there. Still the variations are also here in connection to the identity of the dedicatees of William Shakespeare's sonnets. Now the next point, it's all about the addressee, that is whom the poet has actually addressed this poem to. So this poem is addressed to a fair youth, that is a fair young man. Here you must remember Shakespeare's sonnets number 1 to 126 were addressed to or dedicated to a male friend or a fair friend. So in this regard, these names are the probable dedicatees regarding the identity of this fair young man. Next point is the meter in which it is written. That is, of course, the iambic pentameter. Next point, literary or rhetorical devices which have been used in this poem, like that of the other sonnets of the same poet. So this include the literary figures like comparison, personification, hyperbole, repetition, contrast, symbolism. And most importantly, the beginning line, which is also sometimes considered as the title of this sonnet number 18, is also a rhetorical question. Next point, volta. What is volta? Volta in a sonnet form usually comes in the line number 9. So here in the case of William Shakespeare sonnets, at the beginning of the third quatrain, that is of course in the line number 9, where there is a shift in the subject matter. Dear viewers, now let's explore some of the key points regarding the sonnet number 18. So it's the sonnet number 18 of Shakespeare's 154 sonnets. It is dedicated to his fair friend or male friend, and it is one of the fair youth sonnets. Then the subject matter of this sonnet is the young male friend of the poet speaker, and this poem asserts the very point that the beauty of his fair friend will remain eternal in comparison to the short lived beauty of the summer season. The poet speaker refers to the power of love in giving immortality to his male friend. The poet persona also compares the beauty of his fair friend with the transient beauty, fleeting beauty of the summer season. The same poet persona also becomes hopeful about the beauty of his friend, which will never fade. Now, the analysis. First, the quatrain 1. So, the poem begins with a rhetorical question where the poet speaker clearly compares his young friend with the summer season in terms of beauty. Then he asserts that summer's beauty is fleeting or short lived, as it will not last long. On the other hand, his male friend's beauty will remain same forever, as it will get immortalized, as it will get eternalized in poetry. According to him, his beloved is more lovely and more temperate, whereas nature or summer is not always gentle, as it shakes the darling buds of May. That is, the flower used to get destroyed by the rough winds during the summertime. And in the last line of first quatrain, the poet clearly mentions the short period or the short span of the summertime, as in due time another season will appear as per the seasonal cycle is concerned. Now the quatrain 2. So on the top of the second quatrain, the poet speaker refers to the sun using the phrase the eye of heaven. And it's a metaphor as well as a personification as per the rhetorical figures are concerned. And the poet speaker also asserts that sometimes the sun shines too hot. In the next line, he paradoxically proclaims that some days the sun brings scorching heat, as well as sometimes the sun also gets dimmed. And this way, the poet speaker used the phrase gold complexion of the sun to describe the exclusive brightness of the sun. But at the same time, he makes it clear that this same sun does not always remain the same bright. In line number 7, the poet speaker uses the very word fair twice. And the first one refers to the beauty or the beautiful objects. And the second fair refers to the beauty that is lost by the beautiful objects. And in line number 8, here is a continuation of the last line. And here the poet speaker depicts that the beautiful objects sometimes get untrimmed, decayed, or changed just due to the changing course of nature or by chance. Dear viewers, now the quadrant 3. So in line number 9, which is also called Volta, as it brings the twist in the poem, he confirms the eternal beauty of his male friend. He mentions that his male friend's beauty will remain bright forever, as it will never fade. In the next lines, he again asserts that his friend will not lose his fairness or brightness of youthful beauty, and most importantly, death will never come to him because his beauty will be eternalized in poetry. In line number 11, death is personified, and in line number 12, the poet speaker highlights that his fair friend will grow in poetic lines and poetry will provide him with permanent beauty. Now, the couplet section. In the last two lines, that is in the couplet, the poet speaker asserts that as long as life remains on earth, the verse or poetry will be there, as well as the readers will be there. And till then, his male friend will get eternalized in poetry and by the readers. Here he portrays the power of poetry in granting eternity to the beauty of his male friend. So, this way, the poet speaker in sonnet number 18 highlights or glorifies the beauty of his male friend by comparing it with the fleetingness of the summer season, which is a symbol of the outward or natural beauty. So, dear friends, this is something about Shakespeare's sonnet number 18. Soon we'll come back with another interesting lecture on English literature. So, please stay tuned to my channel and also like, comment, share, and subscribe to it. Thank you.